Coulson meets with the president. That which once was Ward takes 3 months to ask for a burger. And we meet Yo-Yo Rodriguez. It's the mid-season return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 11. Bouncing Back. Alright, spoilers ahead, just so you've been warned. So we got a big kicker return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Some reflections back to what has happened in the ensuing period since the mid-season finale back in December, and really establishing the Secret Warriors, growing the cast, and starting to move things forward. We're going to start out here, of course, with the big meet of Coulson and President Ellis. Yes, our further connections in with the main MCU gets to come from side characters. In this case, we get the return of President Ellis, who we saw earlier on in the season. And he is coming to find Coulson to talk about the Inhumans problem, which has exploded all over the world, and there's lots of international questions and problems. And the president needs that to be dealt with, to which, I love the line Ellis says is, we need to do something about it. And Coulson's just, we are. That's what we've been doing. So, of course, Ellis brings Coulson in. He wants S.H.I.E.L.D. to deal with the Inhuman problems. But, of course, the public's still a little negative on S.H.I.E.L.D. after the whole helicarriers crashing into the Potomac type thing. So the ATCU is still going to be the public face. S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be kind of like the black ops. But S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in charge. Which means the new head of the ATCU is going to be answering to Coulson, which we find out later at the end of the episode is Talbot, which gets a nice sort of exchange. At the beginning of last season, we had Talbot hunting down S.H.I.E.L.D., and now he's going to be working for S.H.I.E.L.D. But we also find out here is a little bit more into Gideon Malik. Basically that he is untouchable. Not even the president can touch him. He is, was once part of the World Council. He has his hands in every economy in the world. Not sure how exactly that happens, but basically a very strong, powerful man who has spent years building connections. And so not something that officially the president can go after. But S.H.I.E.L.D. can. S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, being the kind of quiet black ops undercover part of the government response. And then the rest of the episode deals with a lot of Coulson going after Malik. Love the return of Von Strucker. We find out he is in pretty much a vegetative coma, not able to do anything. So they use the old machine way back from season 1 that Coulson was tortured with when the clairvoyant was trying to find out what happened with Tahiti. And then we get Lincoln, who gets to a little bit of expansion of his powers as they're trying to get him in the machine and it's not working. He's able to use his little electrical powers to maybe stimulate different parts of the brain. So not a whole lot of really big things in that, but just small little connections to what has happened, acknowledging the people that we've gone through, and starting to develop a little bit of Lincoln's power, some of the fine-tuning little bits. And that allowed Coulson to go and sort of give that big call to Malik. And the one thing I did like about that was just the elevator music. Just when he's on hold, waiting for Malik to come, and they just put the cheesy elevator music. It's a small thing, but I like little stuff like that. It keeps it exciting. That call does a little bit of damage to Malik, which we find out later on. He's had to shut down a couple of offices, of companies, and so on. But with that, we're really just sort of connecting into the larger world there and what, how big a powerhouse Malik is. So throughout the rest of the season, as they go to work to break him down, we really get to see the largesse of the struggle ahead of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, mission-wise, this is all happening mostly in Bogota, Colombia, as the Secret Warriors team, as it's starting to develop around Daisy, meets up with a future member, Elena Yo-Yo Rodriguez, Slingshot from the comic books, who a lot of people have been waiting to show up. She's a really integral part of the Secret Warriors, so great to have her introduced here. Now, I'm not exactly sure how the powers are described in the comics. Here, they basically base it on a heartbeat. She can go as far as she can in one heartbeat. That's kind of a loose descriptor of powers right there. I mean, only in the sense that Can she go further if she's calm? Can she go less far if she's excited? You know, depending on the rate of her heartbeat, is it an average heartbeat? And how fast can she actually go? Simmons does do an estimate when they're watching the videotape when Mac gets knocked out of about how fast that she can go. But again, it's just kind of loosely defined, and perhaps that's good. That gives it an area they can further develop. She did say that, and they did the little shot back at Daisy, at Chloe Bennett. The first thing I thought of was her training when she was learning to control her heartbeat, and if that might be a way that she's going to be able to expand the distance that she can go, that Elena Rodriguez can go with her powers before she snaps back to her position. But that was just one of the small little curiosities that I had. But the nice big effect on the team was her viewpoint of her powers. They've really thought that it's been random around, and Lincoln goes in a little bit more about it, which I'll hit in just a second. But basically, Elena's thought that these are a gift from God. These are something for her, they were a gift to help fight crime, you know, to help. And this really kind of hits Mac, you know, who has been one of the more tentative on the power side from humans, seeing the Inhumans develop. Obviously, he's great with Daisy, and the team is developing, but he's always had that bit of resistance, which has been good. It gives him kind of the mellow head of dealing with these new powers and the situations that they develop. But I did like the fact that it reflected back on his own personal faith of, wow, you know, when you say that as a gift from God, that kind of resets things in my head, sort of makes things a little bit more okay for Mac, which is nice, because I don't want some of these unnecessary conflicts to remain just for drama's sake. I prefer the fact that they're able to deal with them and then move on. But we do find, like I said, from Lincoln's little input there, is that the powers are not random. And this, again, harkens back to the original comics. The Terrigen Mist brings out powers that are needed by the society. That's how it is with the royal family in the comics. Here, kind of expanding it out, that this is what is needed for the time. And that is great, sort of gives them a little guideline, but also starts to weigh in the plus and minus, the good and evil. If there's too many good people, is it going to then give it to bad people? So you have the good and evil balance. I think that was an interesting point that was brought up, and will allow us to really continue to expand, the heroes and the villains. And in some ways, there's a naturalistic search for a balance between those two. And of course, during the whole mission, we meet up with the police that we think are good, but end up being the villains at the end. And one of those officers has the power to paralyze, and that is Gorgon. From the comics, that's the Gorgon character. Well, I don't think he's actually given a name in this. I didn't catch it throughout the episode. And at the end, he is picked up by Hydra, so obviously he's going to elevate into more of a regular villain. But this is another sign that we've just got more powers coming in, more good guys, more bad guys. This guy evidently very capable at stopping anyone even with powers. I love the shot of him freezing Yo-Yo Rodriguez right in the midst of her slingshot move. So we're certainly going to be seeing a lot more of him. But this is a nice example of one of the problems that you're doing on a TV budget with superhero powers is being able to afford to show the powers in an effective way. And I think the choices of the characters that they're using right now makes it a lot easier. With Yo-Yo, you're basically just doing a lot of stop action. You know, you have the gun, stop the camera, remove the gun, come back, boom, you do a little blur special effect, and it's done. With Gorgon, you do a little light blush around the eyes, and then people freeze. These are very simple effects to do, and I like the fact that they are finding ways to integrate larger power sets and still being able to constrain in their budget. It just makes the show so much more exciting in that sense. And then there is he who once was Ward, of now the basically possessed body of the inhuman entity that we publicly known as Hive, that has been publicly acknowledged by production. And Hive in the comics is a creature that was created by Hydra. There's basically sort of a mass of eels, slugs, wormy creatures that can attain human form. And he can send those out and so on. Here they're doing a little bit differently. Obviously, it's the singular worm type creature that is inhabiting Ward, and it's much older. It is the basis of Hydra. Now the questions that I kind of have mainly is, why is he taking like 3 months to ask for a burger? I mean, from the opening episodes, they talk about that he hasn't spoken, he hasn't eaten, he hasn't done anything. He's basically been lying around quiet for the past 3 months. Finally, he says that he is hungry. Now, I'm not entirely sure why they went in this direction. I mean, merely in the sense that, is it the entity within him that has been wounded? Is that part of the issue and not just Ward's body? Because if it is Ward's body, why doesn't he just possess another person? And this isn't anything against you, Brett. Brett, we love you. We love that you're on the show and that you keep getting to do different things. I mean, that's cool. But just from sort of a question standpoint, is there a reason why he is still in Ward's body? In the sense that because he's wounded and this is the last body of it is, that he needs to stay in here in order to repair himself? Is there something else about Ward that he likes? Just kind of curious about that, because there's not really much that he does in the episode except eat a whole lot and talk about, as soon as he's better, Malik will understand. Because Malik's losing a little bit of faith here. And that's understandable. Like I said, he hasn't really done anything. They've been waiting thousands of years to bring this creature back, and now he's just sitting down watching TV, munching on ribs. But we do see at the end of the episode him sort of reach out and send that wave of particles, cells, skin. Can't really tell what that was that he had sent out. But I think what the ideas are saying is that I'm wondering if his source of power is his ability to actually control other Inhumans. Is it sort of like a possession, mind control thing, and that is part of his strength. Now, on Maveth, he was able to affect the weather and put out some sort of dread aura feeling. I guess we have to sort of wait to see what his power set is and what goes on, but I think that might have been why he was saying, okay, now that I'm strong enough, Malik, you're going to see what I can do. And I believe that's what that is implying and spreading out, that for some reason he's able to send a part of himself out and either possess or just sort of mind control other Inhumans. Can you do it with regular humans? Maybe not, and that might be the difference. One of the difficulties is increasing the people that you have with powers, is, and the people that don't have powers start to seem less and less important. Obviously, with great character work and intelligence and application, that's not really the case. But if there are something that the humans can do that the Inhumans can't do, and some advantage there, that does sort of help level the playing field. And then real briefly, we get a little bit of Fitzsimmons period, just mostly uncomfortable moments between the two of them. Apparently, Fitz is still blaming himself for Will's death, and that has really affected their relationship and their ability to get on. And I like that Jenna just came up afterwards and was honest again. Let's remove unnecessary drama. Look, I know Will died trying to save me. The creature that you killed wasn't Will, it was a thing, and it was what you had to do. So let's put all this behind us and move on. And they do that by let's starting over again. Hi, I'm Jenna Simmons. Hi, I'm Leopold Fitz. Which was nice. It's a way to start to move things forward, get over any additional drama, but you can't just start all over again. But at least they kind of dealt with that and now have the ability to move on into other forms of drama. You know it's going to be forever until they get together, right? They're just going to drag this out. So as the episode wraps up, they give Yelena a new iPhone watch, a little S.H.I.E.L.D. iWatch with the communicator, hey, if you're ever in trouble, let us know. And that seems to be what they start to imply. Hey, do we have to have the team always around us? Can we be spread out? As Daisy said, when she was a hacker, her hacking team was spread all over the world. Little different though, if you're in Bogota and you need help, you've got to know like 6 hours ahead of time so they can fly down and meet you, or however long it takes to get to where you are. So not totally a workable situation until they get a teleporter or somebody else. Maybe that is the next Inhuman they will find, because that'll allow people to be spread out and still bring them in for missions. But I am not going to leave without talking about the opening bit. I just wanted to wait for the end for that. And that is the shot they do at the very beginning of the episode, 3 months from now, which would be near the season finale. And that is the Quinjet. In low Earth orbit, it looks like, or super high atmosphere, I mean, depending on where you want to draw that line. It looks damaged, there's alarms going off. We get a brief shot of a floating cross necklace, which we do see later on in the episode matches Elena's cross, so that should be her necklace. A S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform or jacket shoulder. I don't think it's an actual person. It could be, but I think it might just be, like I said, a uniform or jacket, because we just really see the shoulder edge and the patch. And then, boom, big explosion. So how we're going to move towards that, you know, is Yelena actually there? Was that left and she got out? We don't know. We'll have to wait. I did think for a moment this might have been a Banner reference, you know, from Age of Ultron, when Hulk flies off in the Quinjet, and they don't really find it, though they say it could have been landed by near Fiji. For a moment I did think that, but because we saw the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo, it can't be. And one, there's the necklace also, but two, that Quinjet would have been an Avengers Quinjet, so if there was anything on board, it would have been like an Avengers jacket or something like that. But starting to set things up, and little insights into maybe where the show is going for the whole back end of the season. Now, lots of exciting stuff coming up. Okay, we have 12 episodes in the back half of the season. Civil War comes out May 6th. So that means there's going to be about 3 more episodes after that for S.H.I.E.L.D. So if they are going to do any connection in with Civil War, it's going to happen in and around that. There's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. May 3rd, then Civil War comes out on the 6th, and then there's 3 more episodes on the 10th, 17th, and 24th. So we'll have, like I said, 3 more episodes after Civil War if they are going to do any sort of tie-in. And Daredevil comes out next week. Next Friday is when that drops. I don't really think they're going to relate to that anywhere in S.H.I.E.L.D. They haven't done it for the previous Daredevil. They didn't do it for Jessica Jones. The only thing they might do is some little scene where something's going on in New York. Hey, we have our hand full with the Inhumans. The regular cops will take care of that. That might be it. And that would be really nice if they did that, or some, you know, background story, something on the TV, just to sort of add that connection. I like seeing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as sort of the central hub of the MCU, in the sense that everything can kind of connect and go off of that. You know, you have the movies, which are all the really big things, and then you've got the Netflix shows, which are off on the side. This is sort of the TV, which has those little connections. We had President Ellis, you know, before that, which is connected in with the Iron Man and the rest, and that connects with everything else. I just like it when they can have these small little bits that just continue to reflect the growth of the larger universe. But what's going to happen next? We're going to have to wait. We'll have to wait till next week. Come on back and join us. Press like if you enjoyed my review today. Feel free to subscribe. Come back every week. We're going to be doing this completely through the rest of the season. We'll definitely be doing Civil War. We'll do a couple other big superhero projects. I am going to try to do something on Daredevil. My schedule right now is really crowded, but at least maybe some little points to throw out. Just maybe a quick review even of the main thrust of the season. But again, that's going to be next week, next Friday, but we'll get another episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just before that. Come on back, we'll talk about it, check it out. Comments in the section below, I always appreciate it. They really do mean a lot to me. And again, just really appreciate all that. Really appreciate you guys coming back and watching me do my thing. I am D, and I am out of here. I'll see you guys later. Oh, and you can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. Adios.